Wait, how did this guy become one of the most famous painters by painting naked women covered in gold? Would you believe one of the world's most iconic artists was basically a 19th century rebel with a golden fetish? You've seen The Kiss, right? That golden romantic masterpiece hanging in every college dorm and art museum gift shop? Yeah, that's Gustav Klimt. But what most people don't know is behind all that shimmer and sensuality was a scandalous genius. He wasn't just painting lovers, he was painting desire, rebellion, and raw, unapologetic femininity in a time when showing a woman's ankle was already too much. Klimt didn't care. He painted goddesses nude, draped in gold, surrounded by whispers of lust and death. Critics were outraged, the church gasped, but collectors, they couldn't get enough. So how did Klimt go from a band artist to the king of erotic elegance? Let's dive in. Let's talk about Gustav Klimt, the guy who made erotic art glamorous. He was born in 1862 in Vienna, but this wasn't the Vienna of Mozart and powdered wigs. Nope, this was the boiling pot of modernism, philosophy, and sexual repression. Perfect storm for a rebel with a paintbrush. And Klimt? Oh, he was a rebel. He wore robes like some mystical wizard, never married, and was rumored to have fathered at least 14 children with different women. He never taught, he didn't write letters, and he basically lived inside his studio, surrounded by naked muses and golden patterns. Yeah, he was that guy. But here's the twist. Klimt started off as a well-behaved academic painter. Decorative ceilings, portraits of aristocrats, nothing controversial. Until one day, he snapped. The turning point? The University of Vienna ceiling paintings. Klimt was commissioned to paint allegories of philosophy, medicine, and jurisprudence. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. He delivered dark, sensual, twisted depictions of naked women floating in space, surrounded by death and chaos. Vienna lost its mind. Indecent, they cried. Pornography. The government canceled the commission. Critics tried to bury him. But Klimt, he doubled down. He quit public commissions altogether and started painting exactly what he wanted: nude women, dreams, myth, and sex. His studio became a sanctuary of silk, gold leaf, and sensuality. Models came and went. Whispers about his private life became louder than his art. But he didn't care. He was obsessed with beauty, the dangerous kind. And then came the kiss. Two lovers wrapped in a golden embrace, intimate, vulnerable, timeless. That painting would seal his fate, hated by the critics, but adored by the public. Eventually, the art world realized Klimt wasn't just drawing erotica. He was drawing power, vulnerability, freedom, especially for women. He gave them agency. He gave them presence. In a time where women were objects, Klimt made them goddesses. Today, his paintings sell for over $100 million. The same Klimt that was once censored now hangs in the most prestigious museums on Earth. Not bad for a guy who spent most of his life covered in gold paint and surrounded by naked inspiration. And while the critics were clutching their pearls, Klimt was out here redefining what art and intimacy could look like. He didn't just break the rules, he painted over them with gold leaf and said, "Try erasing that." Now, you might be wondering, okay, but what exactly makes his erotic paintings so legendary? Are they just sexy for the sake of being sexy? Oh, no, no, no. These aren't just thirst traps from 1900. These are masterpieces that blend mythology, feminism, scandal, and that unmistakable Klimt flair. So buckle up, because in the next few minutes, we're diving headfirst into Klimt's most seductive, most controversial, most jaw-dropping artworks. And trust me, by the end of this list, you might just find yourself whispering, "Why does this turn me on and make me want to go to a museum at the same time?" Let's get golden and maybe a little sinful. So, what's the Klimt vibe anyway? Let's get one thing straight. Gustav Klimt didn't just paint naked women. He celebrated them, he worshiped them, and most of all, he turned them into shimmering, sensual goddesses of another dimension. His artistic style? Think, eroticism meets symbolism. Real flesh meets golden dreams. A little bit of Renaissance, a pinch of Japanese woodblock, and a whole lot of, wait, is that woman made of mosaic? Yeah, gold, swirls, seduction, repeat. Klimt's signature move was covering bodies, especially female bodies, with ornamental patterns, spirals, flowers, checkerboards, Byzantine bling, even Egyptian vibes. But here's the twist. While their skin is soft and realistic, their surroundings are completely surreal. It's like the women are trapped between the real world and a fantasy realm built by desire, myth, and magic. And boy, do they look fine doing it. Let's break it down with a few of his legendary nude works. The Klimt secret sauce: realistic bodies, soft, human, vulnerable. Abstract backgrounds: gold, geometry, dream logic. Erotic energy, but tasteful, elegant, sacred. Symbolist meaning: every curve, pattern, and pose meant something deeper. Klimt didn't just paint nudes, he painted the myth of being naked, and he made it look divine. And just when you think Klimt couldn't get more extra, wait until you hear how one of his forbidden nudes was banned, hidden, stolen by Nazis, and later sold for over $100 million. Oh yeah, art history's about to get spicy. Click next, you won't believe what happened to Klimt's golden muse. So, was Klimt a pervert with a paintbrush? Or a visionary who saw the divine in desire? Maybe both. Maybe that's the magic. Because in a world where female bodies were often shamed, censored, or controlled, Klimt painted them as goddesses, powerful, mysterious, sacred, covered not in clothes, but in gold, symbols, dreams, and unapologetic sensuality. He challenged the rules. He got banned, criticized, even kicked out of art institutions. But a century later, his work is worshipped, his style iconic, his paintings priceless. He didn't just paint nudes, he redefined them. Question: which Klimt nude spoke to you the most? The golden goddess? The lesbian lovers in water? The murderously seductive Judith? Comment, drop your favorite in the comments, and tell me, was it art, lust, or both? If you want more juicy, dramatic, slightly NSFW art stories like this, hit that like button like Klimt hitting a gold leaf stash. Subscribe for more tales of wild artists and their forbidden masterpieces. And don't forget to share this with your friend who still thinks art history is boring. Because trust me, behind every naked body on a canvas is a story way too spicy for your school textbook. This is Stories in Paint, where art isn't quiet, it's scandalous.